Because how do we spark anything? Right now, I asked you to have a vision. It's an idea, isn't it? Think about this. That idea has lit a little flame in your stomach. There's a little ignition gone off there. Ladies, anyone here lit a fire before? Okay, well I'm sure if you haven't lit one, you've tried to light one, okay? You put a bit of kindling down and then you put a spark to it and it catches and it starts to burn, okay? Now imagine this. I walk over and I take a huge big log with all the bark and stuff on the outside and it's been out in the rain and I throw it on that little bit of flame. What's going to happen to the flame? It'll die. The same thing happens in your life. You've now lit that spark. It's that little bit of kindling that's going there. Don't go and overwhelm yourself now with, okay, I've got to do this. Perfect example. We do this to ourselves in the gym, don't we? We decide we want to get fit. So we rush off the first day to gym and we do 1.5 hours and we walk out of there with our knuckles dragging in the carpets and we are finished. But our willpower drags us back the next day. And we go back and we kill ourselves even more, that our knees are buckling as we walk out of the gym. Day 3, we almost can't do it. What happens on day 4? We shoot straight back to our comfort zone. Because what are we? We're pleasure-seeking and pain-avoiding creatures, aren't we? So what have we done? We have imposed pain, more pain, and now we wonder why we can't stick with our gym program. Because we've abused ourselves, we've killed ourselves. The same's true about you and your vision and your future. Goals, dreams are built daily, not in a day. So we have this unrealistic expectation in our brains. In the good old days, when we were farming communities and things, we knew how it worked. You'd plant, you'd take care of the crops, and a few months later you'd reap. Not us. We got microwaves, instant popcorn, instant coffee, instant everything. So what are our expectations? You know what? New Year's Eve, I had a New Year's resolution. And so, by the 2nd of January, it should already be happening. Am I right? Are we setting ourselves up for failure? And this is how we do it. Does anybody know what that is? Hand water pump, yeah. You need to prime it and you stick a little bit of water inside it and then you pump away. And what happens? You start to pump away and you've got the water sitting down here, there's the pump, and the water starts to come up and it starts to come up and it starts to come up. And it's a whole lot of work. Have you seen any water yet? So you stop pumping. What happens? And then we start to pump and we start to pump and we start to pump. Verse. We pump and we work hard and we work hard and we work hard and we see no results. We see no results. We see no results. And all of a sudden the water reaches the surface and it starts to flow. What do we need to do now? Okay? How hard is it now? Now the water's flowing. That's what you need to do with your goals and your dreams. This morning, for example, okay, I had to be here pretty early to get set up, so I didn't manage to get to gym. So what did I do? Got down, I did 3 sets of press-ups, I did 3 sets of sit-ups, and I came here. Are those 3 sets of sit-ups or 3 sets of push-ups going to change my life? Is it going to stop me having a heart attack? Am I going to walk out of here ripped and cut because I did those? No. But what did I do? I pumped the lever. I kept that water flowing. That's all I did. So that's what you need to do, is you need to understand, yes, that spark. Now I need to feed it. What do I do to make that fire burn? I need to create a bit of critical mass. The right amount of critical mass. Not too much, poof, with a big log. Just the right amount of dry, slightly bigger pieces of wood. Feed the fire. Once the fire is blazing, can I take a big log and throw it on top? Isn't that how your dreams work? Isn't that how your goals work? Isn't that how everything works? Isn't that how your sales process works? Don't get out there and expect instant results, instant popcorn, instant microwaves. It's a process. It happens daily. So, identify who's my client that I want to be, that I've targeted, my prospect. Follow the sales process. Find out as much background information as you can. You can never know too much, but you can know too little. Because guess what? If you go out there and you arrive with your feet braced against the desk and you're trying to sell a little ad and you're sitting there going, this ad, unbelievable value. What am I selling? A feature. What's the benefit to the client? What do I know about my client? What do I know about his or her business? Nothing. But if I go in there and I know that there's something going on in their business where I can help them, support them, actually partner them in whatever that is, support them to get their message, their communication out into the marketplace. And someone else is sitting with their feet braced against the desk, my competitor, telling them about the space that they've got to sell. Who do you think's going to get the deal? Who do you think's going to build the relationship? People buy from people they know, like, and trust. How do you build the know? Well, you research them. How do they get to know you? Well, you show them that you know their business. You show them that you know a whole lot about their process, a whole lot about what they do. And then you try and integrate into that, and you show them that you're a partner in the process. Let me help you get your communication out there. Let's think about this. Let's go do it versus you go do it. So get that let's go do it mentality into your brain with your customers. When it becomes a let's, don't you think they're going to get to know, like, and most definitely trust you? So let's go do it. How do we do that? Well, we need to do the tough stuff, okay? We need to light that flame. We need to start feeding that fire, okay? And we can't just throw a but we need to research it. And how does it work? As we're researching our clients, as we're learning about them, we're feeding that. And isn't that fire growing? Okay? And now I can go and we go and have that first meeting. And they get to realize that, ooh, this is not just anybody that's seeing me. This is somebody who knows my business, knows their business, knows the market, and they're actually here to build a mutually beneficial relationship with me. They're not here to take my money. Who would you want to do business with? Someone who's there to partner with you, someone who's there to actually help you, assist you, actually be another employee for you free of charge. You're spending that money anyway, but you've got someone, another employee, another resource in your business free of charge. Or would you like to just sign a check and put an ad in a paper somewhere or in a magazine? If you were the client, who would you want to do business with? So where does it start? It all starts with that research. It starts with understanding the client, understanding the market, understanding, well, what do I need to do to make my offer an integral part of their business so I become a supportive resource rather than just an order taker. There's hundreds of order takers out there. That's easy to do. Times have changed. We need to do things a little differently. We need to think a whole lot smarter. Once you get that working, understand that, yep, you're going to be pumping away. You're going to be pumping and you're not going to see results for a while. But what happens if I get frustrated and I go, 90% of the effort is expended in the first 5 minutes. 95% of the fuel is burnt in the first 90 seconds when the space shuttle takes off from Cape Canaveral. 5% is burnt for the next couple of days while it floats around. So yes, it is effort. Yes, it is a whole lot of work. Yes, you spend 95% or 90% of the energy in the first bit to get the process going. But once it's going and that water's flowing, how easy is it to just keep it going? To keep those relationships, to maintain those relationships, to expand those relationships. Piece of cake. But do the work. The work. This is the part. This is the hard, tough part. And once you start to realize that and you start to appreciate that if you do the 95%, the 5% is so easy. That's why, how do you think Donald Trump makes the kind of money he makes? How many seconds do you think he's got in a day? 86,400, you're right. Richard Branson, he's got an extra 24 hours in a day, eh? Makes you think, doesn't it? Are you using your time as efficiently and effectively as you can? This is something I want you to start to do. It's something I teach in my time management process. At the end of every hour, look back. Ask yourself this question. Was that last 60 minutes the most productive use of my time? Was answering my emails every time they come through on my smartphone? Was going onto Facebook? Was speaking on the phone? Was chatting to my friends at work the best use of my time in that last hour? Start to ask yourself that question. Start to become aware and start to realize that there's a whole lot more that you can do in every single hour of every single day. And then understand this process. For the ladies who don't know what a flywheel is, it's a big, heavy, round thing that goes in an engine, and once it builds up momentum, it helps the engine to keep going. Okay. I want you to imagine that flywheel. It's heavy. If I want to start getting it going, I grab hold of it, and I pull it, and it starts to go. And I pull it again, and again, and again, and again. And slowly, this thing starts flipping around it. Which one of those pulls made it go that fast? Anyone? Maybe there was a harder one than the other, but on its own it could not have got that wheel going, could it? It was the addition of the whole lot. So little things done a whole lot resulted in that wheel spinning and becoming unstoppable. That's the next thing you need to be looking at in your process, is understand that success in sales is activity driven. If I only look at one prospect a month and I put all my energy into that one prospect, okay, if it's a really big prospect, but it's all about your sales funnel, isn't it? You all know what your sales funnel is. We need to be feeding that funnel. If we're not feeding the funnel and we're just working on what's in here and this goes through and we go, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now? I've got to feed the funnel. And the way to feed the funnel is to not just be looking at who am I working with right now, but going, who can I be working with? Keep your eyes and ears open. Start looking around, going, who is the next person, the next client, the next big business that I can be looking at? Don't get totally focused on what you're doing and going, you know what, I'm working with these guys at the moment and it's fantastic, and they go through the funnel, and now you've got to feed that funnel. It's a very, very, very hungry little beast. Okay, keep focused on feeding that sales funnel, because if you stop feeding the funnel, all of a sudden, no matter how much work you've done on what's in the funnel, there's nothing coming in behind it. So understand, sales is activity driven. The more activity, think about it, it's 80-20 principle if you want to look at the Pareto principle. 80% of your work is going to give you 20% of your revenue. 20% of your work is going to give you 80% of your revenue. The more activity you do, the more clients you research, the more clients you see, the more prospects you bring into your funnel, the more business you're going to do. Does anybody in the room think that's not going to work? Is sales activity driven? Of course it is. So, do the activity. Do the activity and you will become number one. Find out from number one, number two, number three. What are they doing? What activity are they doing? Because knowledge in that computer means nothing. You knowing this sales process backwards and forwards, but you're not applying it, is going to help you how? You need to know it, you need to use it, and you need to drive your activity on a daily basis. Drive your activity and the results will come out the bottom of the funnel. The more activity, the more it's going to be pouring out the bottom. The more sales you're going to be generating. Drive your sales by activity.